Hello.
Hello? All right, buddy.
Hello.
Ready when you are.
What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and
You
it's
ready to do
funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Steph, Uni Mayor Sr.
Yeah, I don't have to look for you.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah!
And Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
What's up, everybody? Hello, we're back. Welcome
Hey!
back. We did it. Welcome back to
Welcome
What's
back.
Up, Bro?
Welcome
The What's
back.
Up, Bro? Are we gonna do the Welcome Back remix? The one with Cameron. What's his name?
Mace, baby, Mace.
Mace. I'm sorry.
Welcome back. Welcome
Hi,
back.
my name for this is going live now on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. And if you are experiencing this for the first time, my name is Mike Mercadal, and with me, as always, is.
Oh, you got a nary signs? I thought you were gonna say my name. I was like, hey.
No, I was gesturing
Yes.
to the side. That's
Yes.
Nary Science. We started this podcast over a decade ago when we were both in Miami and we were both living there because What's Up, Bro is the most. Bro is the ultimate Miami word. I think we've established that. Correct. Like, bro is a universal term for literally any and all things in Miami, and that's
Sure.
why we call our podcast "What's Up, Bro."
It got. I feel like you were talking about this because you now live in LA, and you were talking about how the word "bro" has been taken, you feel like, right? You feel that I still live in Miami, so I guess I'm taking your word for it. But the word "bro" for the masses has been hijacked into
I will say
other thing.
So I will say, I live in Los Angeles now. You're a comedian on the road, so you're kind of spent some time outside, dealing with people outside of the bubble that is Miami.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're interacting with international travelers and people who are from places that are not Miami. And I have lived outside of Miami for a long time, and I don't think that it was hijacked. I think we, as Miamians, gave it a new flavor.
Really?
I think bro, like, going back to the 80s, bro is like the general term for like frat guy, or at a certain point, bro, maybe it was like a hip hop thing for a second, but it was not. Like, I feel like it had, like, bro began as like a common thing, and then it got turned into a negative thing, and then Miami people turned it into what we know it as, which is the ultimate pronoun, the ultimate
So living in the Miami bubble, I felt like since the 80s, I thought that was our word in the 80s, like beginning with like Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo, the greatest sequel of all time. I think we could all agree. And I think that, like, that flavor, that word is like Miami Vice. There was a lot of bros in Miami Vice. Or let me rephrase that. A lot of people said bro in Miami Vice. And I just feel as if I haven't seen an episode, but I'm assuming this is I've never watched an episode.
And another thing, if you're new to this podcast, we talk a lot of shit out of our asses. We do not know.
Yeah, what the fuck? And I just realized, because I said that, I was like, oh, I feel, and then you said you think so, and I go, I don't. The 5 clips that I've seen of Miami Vice, I don't think anybody even talks. I think they just roll music over B-roll, over like buildings and cars traveling.
It's just neon sign B-roll. Like, it's just people looking dope as fuck B-roll.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But we will say we're back. It's been a year, I think, since we've done anything on the podcast, and we're back with our annual, because technically we did miss it.
We did not miss the annual.
The annual top 10 movies of 2023, and also, since we're doing a little late in the year, Oscar picks. So I have the list of Oscar nominations. So after each round of top 10s, we're gonna pick which one we think is gonna win, and then we will post how accurate we were.
So, quick question, just before we get to it. How many of the movies that were nominated for Oscars are on your top 10 of the year? Because for the audience who doesn't know, Mike is an actual SAG actor. He's like a real actor, like, right? Like, if you go to my website, you'll see the word actor on there. But I play
yours
fast
is
and
more
loose.
of an optimistic.
I play a fast and loose with the word actor. Mike is a legitimate IMDb like SAG actor, so there's a big difference there. But
it's not a lot. It's the lot of but it is accurate to say that I am in SAG. So there is a lot of like the stuff that once you're in SAG, you kind of have the ability to see all of these things. Like they give you screeners for the SAG awards, and also like events. Like there was a movie that came out last year. I don't know if it's going to be on anybody's list because it didn't really get a wide release because of the fucking strike and all that stuff.
Sure.
The Outlaw Johnny Black, which is like a spiritual sequel to Black Dynamite with Michael Jai White. Did you see it?
I don't even know what words you're speaking right now. I understood. I understood.
You know Black Dynamite.
No, I understood Michael Jai White. I
know
Black
Jaleel White. I feel like Michael Jaleel White is like the ultimate Stefan Urkel.
He is. But here's the thing: if the real actor who plays him is buff, like he's actually in shape. So like it's so funny. Like I was thinking about like a buff Urkel, but I'm like Urkel was buff. Like Urkel was buff. Like he was
buff.
Urkel was yoked, man.
I don't know. Michael, so I got to see a screening of the guy who spawned Michael Jai White. He's made a bunch of like martial arts movies, actions movies, and then he did Black Dynamite.
A lot of movies that were made for kick flicks.
Yes, for those people on the inside. But he also when he did Black Dynamite, it's like this underground blaxploitation spoof. It's like hilarious. But then he made a Western. And when it was supposed to be released was during the SAG strike, so that they shut down all promotion and all that stuff, which is a shame. And it's called The Outlaw Johnny Black, and it is like a Western in the spirit of Black Dynamite, but also like campy 70s Westerns. Like
sure.
And it is. I got to go see a screening of it, and then they have Q&As afterwards. I got to do it with Glass Onion last year or the year before, where I went to go see, and they had like Ed Norton up there talking. And it's the SAG Foundation that lets you do all this stuff and go to screenings. I got to see Guillermo del Toro talk about his life, which was awesome. Like these are cool little perks that you get when you're in the union, and I try to take advantage of them as much as possible. That being said, I've seen a few of the Oscar contenders, but I wouldn't say like I went out of my way to watch all of them.
I did not go out of my way to watch all of them, but I did, and I have purchased more than a few. Like I actually because now we live in an age now where and it's great. I'm assuming to be a SAG member because you have all the streamers and stuff. But we live in an age now where they're like, hey, this movie got nominated, and it's now available to purchase on iTunes, right? And you're like, oh, okay, cool. So like I remember buying there was a couple movies that I purchased that right when they were nominated. They're like, and now the Flowers of the Moon, and then I'm like, whatever. So all these, so I own them, and I've watched a couple, but not all of them. So I like the age that we're living in, but I haven't watched all of them. There's a lot of movies that were nominated, bro.
There's too many movies. There's just so many movies now, especially the ones that come out on streaming and not in theaters, that you always feel like you're missing something. So
there's only so much time. I only have so much time on the day. I mean, I literally I'm on a cruise ship right now, so I do nothing all day. So it's so much time that I gotta spend doing nothing. If I fill that up with something, then there's nothing to do.
Right? Yeah. It's like, hey, wait a minute, I could be doing nothing. But instead, I got to be being challenged through fictional cinematic universes. What is happening? I could have done nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, look who's in the comments. Classic Yolanda. Holy shit, we're back. Yes. I wish we had horn sound
I
effects.
know, man. See, you say that now, but then when I get home and I do the horn sound effects, you're like this fucking morning zoo shit. You just
you can never satisfy me, Neri. I'm like the wind. How do you catch a wave upon the sand? There's how do you solve a problem like Mike's pickiness? We don't know.
We don't know.
But yeah.
But we will continue to try. We will continue to try.
So without further ado, we're gonna start with our top 10 films of 2023. We might have very different movies on our lists because well, let's start with how did you come up with your list? What was your criteria for what made it onto the top 10 versus what is an honorable mention?
Well, to me, what made it onto the top 10 were obviously I had to finish the movie, but no, because it's here's
true.
The thing.
No, yeah, you're fine.
I've become somebody who I don't even recognize anymore when it comes to movies because I've loved movies my entire life. And I will always remember hearing people say like, "Oh, I never finished that movie." And I'm like, "How do you start a movie and not finish it?" Like I was always that guy that couldn't understand that. And now, I guess in my old age, dude, if I start a movie at a certain time of the day, I may not finish that movie, and it has nothing to do with the movie's quality or merits or anything. It just may be like I'm 42, and if I'm watching a movie at 3:00 in the afternoon, the nappies might hit me, bro, and I might go down, bro. Like
the nappies. That is a word also used for a diaper, which as we get older might also be in our lives. We don't know. We don't know.
So, but I have been hit with the
mine was getting through the movie criteria number one, because I saw some bad movies this year, or there's two criteria that there is the movie, did I have a good time watching it?
Yes.
That's our like my baseline. I don't know what's good or bad, but I know what I enjoyed and what I didn't. So did I have a good time watching it? And then if I were to guess if the movie was good or bad, is a second criteria where I'm like, this feels bad. Like it's like I've watched plenty of shitty movies that I've enjoyed. Time.
Fantastic Four.
Not good. Fantastic Four. By any means will I say that it's good or bad, but it's like this is terrible, but I love it, or this is supposed to be good, but I am not enjoying my time.
Right, sure.
You know what I mean? Like there's like there's like the XY. Where am I on
there's that Venn diagram, right? Good, bad, like it, don't like it. I will say I think yes, enjoyable, but I also would say have I seen it more than once since I've watched it?
Ooh.
Or and then like 2A and 2B is one, have I seen it more than once, and two, have I wanted to see it? Right? So like if you watch a movie one time back, in June of 2023, throughout that time, have you ever thought to yourself, man, I want to go see that movie again?
Ooh.
Right? Like that's a good, for me, that's like, I really enjoyed that movie. And I'll be honest, that's not the end all be all. Because a couple of years ago, this movie came out that I thought was a stupendously beautiful movie, but because of the subject matter and because of what happens in the movie, I will never watch that movie again.
Sure.
I acknowledge that the movie's fantastic. I acknowledge that the performances are amazing, but I never want to watch that movie ever again. So that's a tough one for me. So I'm not saying it can't make my top 10. I'm just saying. I'd rather watch,
So you're saying some movies on your list are because they're good, and some movies are because you just enjoyed watching them.
I just enjoyed the hell out of them. Yeah.
There has to be a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, if you deal with superheroes, you have a good shot of getting on this list.
We'll get to it because
what I'm getting here.
We'll get to it because this was a tough year for superhero movies for me, because I don't know. I just maybe my sensibilities change. We'll start, but let's start with our number 10s. All right, we're starting from the top down. Number 10. What is your number 10, and what and why?
John Wick 4 is my number 10.
John Wick 4 table.
Table. Respect the table.
Yeah.
Respect the table.
So for those who are familiar, we table it until we get to, if somebody has it higher on their list, we're going to wait until we get it to, we are familiar with how this works, I think.
Well, I think I always like talking to listeners as if they just joined us, because I don't want them to get lost in the, well, what the fuck does that mean? Here we go. So,
and also, if you're watching this live right now, if you get in there, send us your comments. Send us your top 10s. Which movies did you see last year that you enjoyed? And we'll talk about them. Hilda's in the chat. Hilda, what's up, Hilda? Thank you for hanging out. We love it. And hopefully we're doing stuff soon. Stay tuned to What's Up, Bro, and all of our social media feeds, because we're going to be doing more stuff, I think, potentially in the future. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. My number 10 was Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Right. No table?
No. So Mission Impossible, so the things with Mission Impossible, and I really do enjoy these movies, and I really did enjoy this one. I've watched that movie probably 3 or 4 times. It's on a cruise ship and it's constantly playing.
It's on a loop?
Yeah, it's constantly playing. Hold on. Pause me real quick. Pause my sound.
Oh, sure. Okay. I will say, so while Neri's handling a business phone call, for a call from the president on the hotline phone, will we launch the nukes? Who knows? So Mission Impossible. I love the Mission Impossible series. I love the Mission Impossible series so much. I've seen them all. I go back and I'll rewatch all of them except for 2. I don't like 2.
Except for 2. Nobody likes 2.
Unfortunately, it's the John Woo one, but it's also like the one that is like the least enjoyable to watch. I love these movies.
I think it's the one that's aged the worst. That's what I'll say about that one.
Sure.
That's what I'll say about that one. I think it's the one that's aged the worst.
Fair. I enjoy these movies because, to me, this is spectacle filmmaking. This is blockbuster filmmaking. Yes. So it has to be, I couldn't put it, like, it had to be 10 because I couldn't put it any lower and still not talk about it. Like, it had to be on my list, but I know that there are other movies that are better than it, but also this is like fuck it. It's like Top Gun Maverick from the year before, where it's like, this is fucking movies, movies. That's what it is.
I look, so I like the movie. I've seen it probably 3 times at least, the movie. But I will say these movies, and maybe I'm just dumb, and I'm not saying that to put myself down but it takes me a while I'm watching it in the first run. I feel very confused throughout most of the movie.
Yes, I think that's
I feel very confused throughout most of the movie.
Sure.
And it's very, like, it's just unsettling. I'm like, what's happening? And then I feel like there's a part of me that feels like, oh, this is a cool stunt. This is a cool jump. This is a cool visual. And then I'm like, but why are we doing this visual? Like, what's it? Because I don't understand. And then they do that whole thing where, like, and this is what happened, and they unveil it, right? And you go,
yeah.
And then you go, okay, I gotta watch it again the second time to figure out what's like. That's how I feel, and I felt that way the last 2 or 3 Mission Impossible movies, where I feel that they've been great, but I feel like I didn't know what was happening until the second rewatch, and I'm just, I don't know. It's just okay. And that's not a knock on the movie. I'm acknowledging this is on me. I just feel like it's getting harder and harder to follow what's happening in these movies.
I do cheat. I do watch the previous one before I go in to watch the next one, just to get my mind in the Mission Impossible mindset.
Sure.
To be able to, like, kind of dig it. But enough about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. I enjoy it. It's spectacle filmmaking. It's on my list because I love the series. So the fact that they made another one, and after Henry Cavill doing the arms thing,
cocking his arms.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my number 10. With that said, let's go to our Oscar picks. We're gonna start with we're gonna start with Best Picture. We're gonna start with Best Actor in a Supporting Role. We're gonna start supporting actors, and we gotta see if we've seen any of these movies. Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction. Robert De Niro.
I own American Fiction, and I haven't watched it yet.
Whoa, what the hell just happened?
You just
Did
threw
see?
balloons up, bro. You just
Did
threw
I just
balloons
threw?
up.
What was that?
Oh,
Oh,
confetti. Do we do this?
see, this is
How's
what
that
happens
work?
when you get Mac updates. What is happening?
Oh! To the audio listener, just watch the video. We're having too much fun with these.
Oh no, we've found a new toy. This is bad.
Oh
Oh
boy.
boy, this is bad.
You
We have
took
Sterling
away.
K. Brown.
They took away the air horns, but they gave me fireworks. So
Fireworks, yeah, for real. The other one, I think it's this one. I remember seeing, like in the hearts.
oh, it's hearts. Right.
Oh my
right.
god, we're such dorks. Okay,
Okay.
we have. This is supporting Oscar, best actor in a supporting role: Sterling K. Brown, Robert De Niro, Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer,
Oppenheimer.
Ryan Gosling in Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. How
What a
many of
time,
those have you
what
seen?
a time to be alive in which you could literally say nominated for Academy Award, Oppenheimer, and Barbie. Like Robert Downey
Yes.
Jr. in Oppenheimer and Barbie. I think it's fantastic.
Barbenheimer was a big spectacle deal
That was the last big
this
one.
year.
Yeah.
The last big movie deal. So now we're gonna make our picks.
American Fiction is the only one that I haven't seen.
I have not seen American Fiction. I haven't seen Poor Things either.
Oh no, you're right. I haven't seen that one either. Good call.
I have all of these, saved.
I own American Fiction and I haven't seen it.
Yeah. All right. So which ones are we doing here? Well, I'm gonna go with, of the two that I've seen, or the three that I've seen, I really think the one that stands out the most is Ryan Gosling in Barbie, because the rest of the people are just acting. In my, Ryan Gosling,
just acting, huh? Just
no, but
okay,
like it feels like that character was like so well put together that his acting even like made it better than the sum of its parts. I figure it could have been fucking terrible, right? Like he could have missed the mark big time.
Okay,
but
I don't think he could have.
Great job.
What kind of performance could he have given that you're like, that's not how Ken from Barbie would act? Like like I don't think he could have fucked that up. I gotta be honest.
Oh, interesting. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
I'm not saying you are wrong. I'm saying I don't think that he could have fucked that. Like what kind of a performance? Can you name me another kind of performance in any movie that you would have been like, that's not how Ken would act? It's a doll, like it's a toy.
Raphael from the Ninja Turtles. I don't know, man.
He was kind of like Raphael from the Ninja Turtles for a couple of scenes. He was kind of angry and bitter and upset, and he didn't know how to show his. What a
roller coaster! You know what? I'm going with my pick. I'm going with my gut. We're going knee jerk reactions here. So we, because we haven't seen the other ones. We don't.
All
know.
right. I think my it's got to be Robert De Niro to me. I mean, he's spoken different. He spoke in different languages. He spoke the Native American language, and it sounded fluent. It sounded fluent. It didn't sound like it was forced. Again, I don't speak that language, so I don't know. For all I know, it could have been very choppy, but I don't know. But it didn't sound it. And again,
for all we know,
it
could have been "Donde está la biblioteca" type of.
For sure, like that's what I'm saying. But it didn't. The cadence did not sound "Donde está la biblioteca." It
sounded put together. Okay, fine,
fluent. Yes. It sounded fluent. So
it sounded.
So I'm gonna say, but Robert Downey Jr. I mean, there's very few things that I want to say of Robert Downey Jr. Listen to me, Robert De Niro. There's very few times that I've ever looked at a Robert Downey Jr. performance and been like, I don't believe it. I don't buy it.
Robert De Niro, you mean?
Yeah, Robert. That's what I said. Is it okay? Robert.
You said Robert Downey Jr. You're
both
mixing
of them. But I think both of them. I'm actually. This is accurate to both. This statement is accurate to both actors. I'm picking Robert Downey Jr. I'm sorry. I'm picking Robert De Niro, but. There has not been. By the way, did you hear about Robert Downey Jr. saying that this is his best performance?
His in Oppenheimer?
Yeah. He says in Oppenheimer, he says that's the best movie he's ever been on.
He's great. I mean, he's amazing in it, and then the reveal of like all of the betrayals. Also, spoiler alerts for any of these movies.
Dirtbagginess.
Yeah, the betrayal, that whole kind of like using him, and it was great. It was like the whole sneakiness. Once it's revealed
We don't have to talk too much about that movie right now.
Yeah. We'll come back to it. Yeah. So we have Robert De Niro for you, Ryan Gosling for me. Neither one of us picked Robert Downey Jr.
Right on. All right.
Okay. So let's go to our number nines.
Number nine.
What's your number?
It's a movie called Flamin' Hot.
Oh, I have not seen it, but my wife has.
Yes.
Is it really that great?
It's so good, right? Now, I will say this to you. The movie is about the man who created Flamin' Hot Cheetos, right? Who created it's a Latino man who used to literally work at the warehouse at the factory of Cheetos, of whatever I forget the name, the brand, whatever, Nabisco. I don't know. I forget. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but it's about, he literally used to sweep the floors. He started there sweeping the floors, and then he became one of these VPs. He moved on up, but the way he did that is by literally creating Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Now, if you read the real story and going into it, it gets a little bit more nuanced because the company was already experimenting, and the movie does say this. The company was already exploring hot Cheetos as a thing, but their recipe was all shitty and it wasn't doing anything. And so he
took a Mexican.
Literally, right?
Yeah.
So this is very much it's a passion project by Eva Longoria, who is a producer of this movie. I believe she directed it, if I'm not mistaken. She directed it as well. If I'm not mistaken, maybe I am.
We'll figure it out.
But she is a passion project for her. It was very important for her to get this movie made. I watched the movie, and it was one of those. And again, I get it. It plays to my Latino pride, and so I understand
your Latino sensibilities. Yes, Eva Longoria directed it.
Yeah, so I am fully aware that I'm not dumb in saying like, no, this has nothing to do with it. Like, no, this is a big deal. This is a big deal to me. But only because of representation really does matter. And like, I know it's a phrase that's been said a million times, but this year more than most, I would say I understand. I feel it now. Not that I didn't understand it before, but now I have some movies that I could point to and be like, that's ours, right? And that's a good thing. So, Flamin' Hot's a really good movie, man. It's a really good movie. I dug it.
My wife saw it, watched it, she liked it. I did not get into it. This is also like not a good year for movies for me because I had two video games that I played a whole bunch of that were eating up all my time. For like Baldur's Gate 3 was my whole life, has been like, it's still like one of like things that eats up most of my time. So I've missed a bunch of shows and movies and stuff of the, for a little while. So
sure.
We'll see. I'm trying, like I missed a weird group of movies. That was one that my wife would be watching right over here, and I'd be on the computer playing. And then
I thought you were gonna say that it was a weird movie because you're a SAG actor and you were on this like, I'm not watching any movies type of shit.
Yeah, boycott the streaming. We should have boycotted all of that shit. It's a huge mess. Yeah. Don't make me pull the tinfoil.
So what's your number 9, brother? What's your number 9?
My number 9 is Tetris. Did you see the
missed
movie?
It by that much.
Tetris.
Missed it by that much, bro. Honorable mentions, outside looking in, just that much. It was literally going to be Tetris or Flamin' Hot. That's how close it got. That's how close it got. Yeah.
What a fun movie, unexpected, good movie that was. What a story. Like I read that made me go look for the story. It's all about how the rights to this video game became an international incident almost. Yeah. Like with fucking KGB agents and spies and money and big companies going at it and billionaires getting bankrupted, and it's awesome. The structure alone of the how big the story gets is crazy. And it starts off with just simple fun things that I remember playing Nintendo as a kid. I had the bootleg Tetris that they stop making them.
The floppy?
The one that was released on the Nintendo, but it was not Nintendo. It was from Tengen or some other company. I remember they showed it. I remember, oh fuck, I had that. Like so many weird little things about this movie was like right in the nostalgia. The soundtrack was awesome. The story, the editing was great. The way they incorporated like the technology of the era, and it really felt like a spy thriller. Yes. And then you take a step back, and it's about Tetris. Yeah. It's crazy, and the origins of the Game Boy, like when they reveal the Game Boy. Like,
I totally. So this was on an episode of Movie Bros. We talked about this movie, and I legitimately was shocked when they unveiled it, because even in the scene leading up to it, they're like, oh, we have something, you have to sign waivers and blah 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 and all that stuff there. And I was literally like so dumb. I was like, I don't know what to be like. I didn't even think about like what's behind that's behind. And then they unveiled it, and I was like, oh shit! It's so funny.
Yeah,
I was like,
really
oh my
is.
god, it's a magnificent Game Boy in which I have something in the palm of my. I was literally watching a movie on something that has more power than the Game Boy.
Right, you're watching it. Literally, more technology is in your hand right now than went to the moon.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
literally, that Game Boy is ancient compared to what we have in our hands. But it's so funny how like that feeling you get when you're just like, yes, the drama.
I dug the movie, man. I dug the movie. Honestly, like Flamin' Hot is along the same lines. Isn't it weird though? 2023 was the movie of like weird, like white man business, like making things that like BlackBerry was a movie, Tetris was a movie. There were like the what was the little toys, the Beanie Babies, the Beanie. There was all these movies where they're like, we're making rich, like these guys in suits, and it's like, how did this get done? And we were like, it's funny that it all came out in the same year.
Dumb Money, the movie about the GameStop stock
That's
thing.
Right.
There's a bunch of that stuff. I mean, there's so much drama in it, and then millionaires making more money off of telling the story about
so
like
funny.
Hollywood studios.
Millionaires are like, this is a story of how the little guy got to win over. Now pay us, the big guys, because we made this movie. It's like, okay, all right. So
okay,
all right.
Next Oscar category. Those were our number nines. Our number nines were Flaming Hot and Tetris.
That's right.
And the next Oscars category is actress in a supporting role. We have Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple, the musical, America Ferrera in Barbie, Jodie Foster in Nyad, and Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers.
Okay. So I didn't watch The Holdovers. And I didn't watch, what was the other one they said?
Nyad?
Yeah, Nyad I didn't watch. So those I didn't watch. But I will say, with that said, again, this is my Latino-ness coming up, but there's never going to be a time that I do not pick America Ferrera and anything on earth.
Fair.
There's not going to be a time.
Yeah, fair. You are very much, I was going to call you a racist, but I don't feel like that's the appropriate.
Yeah. I mean,
you're a racer. You're a racer.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not bad, but you do take it into account.
I do. Absolutely. But I'm acknowledging it. I'm like, America Ferrera. But America Ferrera did kill it in Barbie, though. She really did.
She really was great. That whole speech that she gives is phenomenal. But we'll get there. I have seen all of these except for The Color Purple. And I think it's a tough choice, and it's between two of the ones that you did not see, so that's why it's hard.
Sure.
I think Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers is my pick, and it's we'll get to it.
That's a spoiler alert. That's a spoiler alert.
It's a surprise tool that we'll use later or whatever.
Is that an ambulance? That's funny.
Who knows what it is?
I love the fact that you lived in New York and we never heard a siren.
Not once.
Going off and then now you're out in LA and they're like, no, people actually care here.
People. And it's my apartment's actually kind of close to the road. There is road noise where I come from, and I'm like, what gives, LA? I moved from New York, the siren capital of the movies. Every movie has a siren running through it, but whatever. Okay. What was your number 8?
So my number 8 is very different if you know my sensibilities. It's not expected if you know my sensibilities. Is The Pope's Exorcist.
The Pope's Exorcist.
It's with did you not even hear of it? It sounds like you haven't even heard of it.
Oh, who was it? That guy. Russell Crowe is in it.
That guy. Who is it? That guy. Who is it?
That
you
guy.
know that Oscar winner? Who's that guy? That guy? Yeah. Russell Crowe.
Oscar winner who's just doing side quests now.
Yeah, it's just great.
That's what he's doing. He hit it with Gladiator. Now he's just doing whatever the fuck he wants. Nice Guys is one of my top 10 movies of all time.
I gotta go back and rewatch that movie. I gotta go. Like I like that movie, but I saw it before everybody started raving about it, and then everybody started raving about it. I was like, okay, maybe
Did you
I
miss?
missed something. I'm like, I liked it, but I never I babe anyways. So the Pope's Exorcist is a really good movie. It's a horror movie. That's why it's not my regular
I was gonna
sensibilities.
say, yeah.
And it really fucking. There was a moment where I was like, oh, this is Russell Crowe, and I was blah, 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 and I started watching it, and then like 25 minutes in, it got like really actually scary, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, I started like feeling scared, and I was like, I gotta pause this shit real quick, and I gotta like open the curtains. I gotta go open the curtains. I'm like, this shit is what the fuck they do. Like I was getting mad at myself. I was like, did you forget you're a pussy? Like what's going on here?
Right.
And I'm
You're
like, I gotta,
well, I love Russell Crowe. Let me do
yeah.
Russell Crowe things, and then you're like, oh no,
Oh, this is scary. This is scary. Oh no. But it was a really good movie. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And for as much as it can be, and I know you're gonna laugh at this, it's based on a true story. In the sense, let me hold on, man. Let me get there, bro. Let me get there. The guy he plays really existed, and the guy he plays really held the actual job title of the Pope's exorcist. Amongst the Catholic Church, they explain it. In the Catholic Church, there's exorcists, and then there's like the guy that the Pope goes, "Hey, we need it." There's like you know what I mean? He's the cavalry that other exorcists priests call, because not all priests can perform exorcists. So it's a whole thing. So that's what I'm saying.
He's a black belt priest.
So he's a black belt priest, and he's a war hero. He was a the war hero. The man really existed. He was a legitimate war hero. He was an actual physical doctor. He was like he wrote like, I think it was like, if I'm not I don't know. It was like dozens of books on not just theology but on other things. And so he was he was a legit person. So it's based on that. Yeah.
So it's based on this guy's stories.
Right. Well,
I don't mean to be dismissive.
No, but isn't everything based on somebody's stories?
It's based on somebody's stories.
Yeah, but isn't everything based on
a true story? Easy.
Yeah, but again, isn't everything based on somebody's stories? Like,
whose truth are we talking about here? Yours, mine, or the truth? Yeah, reality.
Yeah. So,
anyways, I get it.
So
that is shocking for you. I'm the Pope's Exorcist with Russell Crowe is a horror movie on your top 10. That's a big deal.
And it's not only is it, I think it's the first time I've ever had a horror movie on any top 10. And we've done this list for over 10 years.
Yeah.
And I don't recall, again, because I'm a wuss. I just to clarify, it's not that I don't like horror movies for the sake of not liking them. I don't like them because they succeed in their goal, which is to scare me. And I don't like being scared. But the Pope's Exorcist was really, really well done. I very much enjoyed it.
I respect the going out of your comfort zone for this one.
Yeah.
My number 8 was John Wick 4.
All right.
John Wick, I'm sorry, Chapter 4. We got to get the full title
correct.
True.
That's true.
John Wick Chapter 4. This was lower on my list than I would have wanted it to be. I had a lot of high expectations for this, and some parts felt draggy. Like it felt a little long in certain moments where I was like, okay, I get it. And then even in the action scenes, there was certain action scenes where I was just like, the same feeling I got when I watched the Mission Impossible, where like, this is spectacle filmmaking. This is like action filmmaking. This is like fucking gunfights. This is dragon's breath shotgun shells that shoot sparks and light people on fire.
That view from on top, that where they will go video game view from on top view, where they were going from room to room. Oh, the cinematography is top fucking notch, man.
Top tier. But
Scott Adkins, what? As a fat guy, kind of a little disappointed. Gotta be honest with you. He played a fat guy, and I was like, you can't get fat guys to do this. And then I realized, and then I saw him do kicks, and I'm like, I don't think you can get fat guys to do that.
No, this isn't the same kind of fat guy. This is Sammo Hung type stuff.
Yeah.
Very specific. But the idea that this movie beat you to death with action was hard for me. Like I had to like, I didn't see it in the theater.
That's my regret. I haven't seen it on a big screen. I've seen it on an iPad, and it's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah, I have not seen Dune 2 because I want to go see Dune in the theaters. I want to go see it on the big screen. Like I give it the credit it deserves. But this movie, I watch it. You know, I have a nice home theater.
I was gonna say 50-inch
But-
TV is big enough. I think you're fine. I don't think you know what I mean. You know.
Yeah,
it's fine.
but it's also like the experience of the room. There's something about the movie
Sure.
theater that I love and I miss. And this was one of those movies where had I been in the theater for it, it might be higher on my list. But I watched it at home. Otherwise, it's literally just like I had to pause it with just how much ass kickery was happening on screen. It was just
That's how I felt.
much.
That's how I felt about Mission Impossible. I had to pause it because I was like, I don't understand what's like. It was the opposite. It was like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? It wasn't the ass kickery that was throwing me off. It was the talkie. I was like, what did he?
Yeah,
what did he say?
that was
These
part
are a
of
lot
the
words.
draggy.
There's a lot of words.
Yeah. Also,
But
there is that moment in the stairwell scene. The stair, not the stairwell, the big thing of stairs that he gets all the way to the top,
and
then
they
they
go
fucking
back
kick
out.
him, and he goes, and it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I very much enjoyed. I think John Wick is one of the few franchises where I personally think each movie got better than the previous. I think part 1 is great and I love it, but I like chapter 2 better than chapter 1, and I like chapter 3 better than chapter 2, and I like chapter 4 better than all of them. I could not say the same thing for Equalizer because that's the exact opposite of how I feel for Equalizer. So I don't know if it's on your list. I'm not going to say anything, but I just but
we'll get there, I guess. But it is not on my list. I haven't seen any of those movies.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any of them, and I know that's.
You haven't seen the Equalizer movies?
No.
Ooh, wow.
I know that you love them, so it's like
part 1 is great. Part 2 is good. Part 2 is good. So like yeah, that's how I feel. I feel part 1 is great, part 2 is good, and then part 3 is really a reason for them to go to Italy. They're like, we need
right. Like, what's the next country they go to?
Yeah, I'll do this if we go to Italy. It's fine.
An honorable mention to Sisu for me, because this Sisu. Did you see Sisu?
No.
Do you know what Sisu is? It's like a Icelandic or Finnish. It's from Finland, or I can't remember where it is, but it is like John Wick fighting Nazis in World War II.
Oh, wow.
And it is take away all of the talkie that you did not like from John Wick 4.
No.
Watch Sisu.
The talkie that I didn't like was from the whatchamacallit, the Mission Impossible.
Oh, okay.
It's not that I didn't like it, I just didn't understand it. There's a big difference. I can acknowledge I'm dumb. I'm acknowledging this.
But yeah, Sisu was bonkers, also worthy of an honorable mention. My dad is on the day. I'm assuming that he's commenting he's the one with the biggest balls. I'm assuming he's talking about the Pope's exorcist.
Yes, he is.
And then my stepmom Yolanda says, yes. Who else could he be talking about with the biggest balls? John Wick?
John Wick does have the biggest balls.
The biggest balls. We got a lot of that a lot of big ball energy in the top 10 list so far.
Sure.
And Yolanda says John Wick is hot.
I do agree.
I
do agree.
Now we're going to go to our next Oscars category, which is Best Animated Feature Film. Animated Feature Film. We have The Boy and the Heron, Hayao Miyazaki and Toshio Suzuki. Elemental, which is the Pixar.
Sure. The Pixar movie, yeah.
Nimona, which I did not see. Robot Dreams, which I did not see.
I did not see.
And Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
All right, so I've seen two. Gotta be honest with you, I think Elemental does not deserve to be on that list. I'm a huge Pixar nerd. I don't think Elemental, and then even worse is that Puss in Boots 2 does deserve to be on that list, and it wasn't on there.
Ooh, what a snub! That's our first snub of the.
I was very disappointed because I was like, and here's the thing: I didn't see Elemental until literally 3 days ago. So when they announced these, I was like, man, Elemental must be great. I just haven't got to see it yet. And then I watched it 3 days ago, and I was like, how the fuck is Puss in Boots 2 not on this list? Again, I'm a huge fan of animated movies. I didn't get to see the other ones just because of time and where I am and location. Sure. But it's clear as day that's going to be Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, that's not even fucking close.
It's Across the Spider-Verse for me because I have not seen any of the other ones. I think there's a difference between which one do I think is my of what the ones that I've seen. I've only seen Across the Spider-Verse, but the Miyazaki movie, it might win because it's political. It might win because it's his last movie. He's gonna do. It's his last one that he's directed. It's supposed to be this heartbreaking story, like super important. If I'm picking my, Across the Spider-Verse is the one that I saw, so of course that's the only one I can pick. But I think the one that's going to win is The Boy and the Heron.
Sure.
So
Across the Spider-Verse is gonna. I mean, that's a fucking juggernaut of a movie that on every aspect, on the scale, on sales, on movie tickets, on talent, on everything. And it's just
Well, I think we're gonna get to a little bit of we might get a table here because skip it. We'll just skip right ahead. My number 7 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
So is mine. My number 7 is
Oh,
Spider-Man. Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Interesting. So you start. You tell me about Across the Spider-Verse. You talk about all the talent of the juggernaut.
It's a juggernaut of a movie. It made, I believe, it made over $1 billion, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm not a movie journalist, so don't fucking quote me on that. But it made a lot of money. It made a shit ton of money. It picks off, where the other one left off, where Into the Spider-Verse left off. It was very creative in the way it incorporated everything. Again, my Latino-ness is showing because you have not only the main character is of Latino roots, but also the main villain is played by a Hispanic actor. So I'm all for that as well.
A villain in whose perspective?
Well, again, that's right. And a villain in the perspective of the man he's trying to kill. So he's the villain, right?
But is Spider-Man not a menace? That's his whole deal, is that Spider-Man is a menace. That's what J. Jonah Jameson says all the time.
Some people call him spectacular. So
he might be spectacular.
Some people call him amazing. So
superior.
Superior.
There was a superior Spider-Man.
There was a superior, yeah. But I dug this movie. I do think it's not as good as Into the Spider-Verse. I will say that. But that's really like, hey, this movie isn't as perfect as the perfect movie.
Right.
I still hold Into the Spider-Verse as the best comic book movie ever made. That's my opinion on that. And this one didn't budge me from that opinion. But it was still doesn't take away from the fact that it was an excellent film. It was an excellent film. So much so that my son,
according to Hilda, it's also her number 7. I feel like Across the Spider-Verse hits number 7 for the year for a lot of people.
And a lot of universes, Across the Spider-Verse was number 7 for a lot of universes.
For a lot of universe.
But the movie was so good that it was awesome to see. I watched it with my kids, but it was awesome to see my son when the "to be continued" hit at the end. It was awesome to see my son's reaction because he was like, "What the?" Like he was so upset.
Okay,
he was so distraught.
All right, let me get into it. I am sick of movies being television and television being movies. There needs to be movies and there needs to be television.
Sure, I agree with you.
Okay, the only reason Across the Spider-Verse is not higher on the list because of how good Into the Spider-Verse was.
Sure.
Across the Spider-Verse is half the story. So when I'll give you an analogy. Into the Spider-Verse, Back to the Future 1, Across the Spider-Verse, Back to the Future 2. There's a lot of amazingness in there, but it does not resolve. And they show us the fucking to be continued at the end. Like, I'm watching this for 2.5. It's like a 2-hour plus movie, right? Like it's a long ass animated, like to be bombarded with all of this action, cinema color, all of this animation in your face for 2+ hours. And then I'm watching and I'm like, this isn't going to resolve. And it's not that it didn't resolve. Like there was some resolution. The whole story is literally before it's over. It's not like introduced in the third part. Like this one was like where they show, like before they showed him come out, whatever, the when he's laying down, looking up and seeing Gwen come down at the end of the first one. This one, it ends with literally like, hey, you're in the wrong place. Like straight up, like the story, all of this is wrong. All of this is bad. So literally everything that happened before it isn't complete. And that to me was the only reason it's lower. It's still 7 on my list. That's how good it is. But it would be higher. I love these movies, and I loved the fan, not service, but that fan reward of like, if you have a little bit of extra Spider-Man knowledge, you get so much more from everything.
I don't think there's anything wrong with saying fan service. Fan service is not. It's not. It
Serving
wasn't.
the-
It was serving the fan, and it wasn't to the detriment of the story. It wasn't
Yeah.
to, you know what I mean. Fan service when it comes to movies or
Ooh.
music or any kind of art is only a bad thing when you're only doing it for that and you're not servicing the plot or the story. You know what I mean? Like there's, you know what I mean, when something else loses because you had to, oh, we had to put in this fan service, so we got to take this other thing that's more
Right.
important out.
Like
I
Black
get
Panther
that.
2.
Like Black Panther 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I just saw Black Panther 2 again recently, and I was like, yeah, I do agree with that.
Yep. Yolanda says kind of like Star Wars, which if this is Empire Strikes Back, that means it's the best one. I mean, it is kind of like Empire Strikes Back that leaves you hanging with
The only
like,
difference is on Empire Strikes Back, there's not the actual physical words of "to be continued."
right. It ends with them looking out the window with his new
Yeah.
hand and all that stuff. This is literally is like
He said, "Hey,
to be
remember when we made out? That was
Yeah.
weird.
Right.
'Cause you're my sister.
Or
That was
also
weird.
in the Matrix, like the Matrix 2 had to be, or what was it to be? Which one said to be concluded?
I don't.
There's something that said to be continued, and then there was something that said to be concluded.
Matrix 2, man, is one of those movies where I kind of don't remember it because it didn't live up to
I
my
like it. I
expectations.
actually like Matrix
I'm
2,
sh-
but
Yeah.
it's also like one of those up in the air things of like, is it good? Probably not. Do I enjoy it? Absolutely.
Matrix 2 for me was, I can name you certain scenes and they're all action sequences that are amazing, but the total isn't better than the parts. So like there's like
Accurate.
there's certain scenes that are amazing, but then when I talk about the whole movie as a whole, I'm like, I don't like it. And they're like, but you just talked about, you went in depth about 3 of those scenes that were amazing. I'm like, yeah, those were great, but I don't like
Fair enough.
it.
All right, let's get to our next Oscars category: music. The best original song. We both love music. We both
Sure.
love movies. Let's see which one we pick. The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot. Music and lyrics by Diane Warren. I'm Just Ken from Barbie. Music and lyrics by Mark Ronson.
Which is gonna win, by the way. That's clearly.
I
gonna
bet,
win. That's clearly gonna win.
It Never Went Away from American Symphony. I don't know that one.
Bien conocido en su casa.
Right.
Bien conocido.
Wazaze for My People from Killers of the Flower Moon.
Mhm.
And What Was I Made For from Barbie. Billy, I don't know. Between the two Barbie songs, those are tough.
So, I believe the one that's gonna win is the Ken song. I believe that's the one that's gonna win. It's a fun song. It's a good song. It's a fun song. People remember it. But again, my pick is gonna be, and for no particular reason, but the one from Flaming Hot. No particular reason. Just because. No, this is clearly waving my Latino flagness and my Latinoness, and I'm like, I'm all in. I'm all in.
You're
on the
all
Latinoness,
in.
bro.
You're all in,
baby.
Oh, you're not watching the Oscars. You're watching
Yeah.
the Oscar. you
Yeah,
know?
I'm watching los Oscars.
Los
Oscars.
Oscars. I don't know. I would want for Ken to win because it's funnier. That song
Sure.
is great, but it's also the whole thing about Barbie. We talked about it on Movie Bros. You can go back and check it out on the Geek Bro Network. But it's hard because Barbie was such a good movie to like minimize it. Like, it's a goofy song, whatever. It's like, no, these are like monumental moments for the characters.
Sure.
And What Was I Made For? I think is my like emotional choice. I'm Just Ken is good in the movie. What Was I Made For is like the better song as a whole, you know.
Yeah.
Vanessa
Sayenes says, she commented, but Ryan Reynolds is married to Eva Mendes, so he's Latino by marriage, with 4 exclamation marks. As if somehow I have said anything otherwise. As if somehow I have in one way, shape, or form diminished his Latino-ness.
You got caught in a battle you did not know you were fighting. You were like, wait, I never said.
Right. Yeah, I never said that. Yeah. Yolanda saying that he's Latino through injection, and I don't know. I don't know
I
how
don't know
Eva
what they
Mendes.
do in their bedroom. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
what they
how
do in their
Eva
bedroom.
Mendes identifies, but I don't think I don't. Hey,
Hey, look.
International Women's Day is coming up. I guess that's a thing.
I mean, sure. Let's. We try not to judge here.
Yeah, hey man, love is love, baby. Love is love.
Love is love. I will say. So now that brings us to our number 6s, if I am correct.
Yes.
What is your number 6?
My number 6 is I'm kind of debating here, but I'm gonna go with Extraction 2.
Oh boy.
You did not like Extraction 2, I'm assuming, with that response.
There on my so when I did my list of movies, because I went through a list of all the movies that came out in 2023. I
Sure.
wrote down all the ones that I had seen.
Oh, by the way, I do it as I'm watching a movie. Whenever I watch a movie,
interesting.
Yeah, I do that every year. Every year I go, that's worthy of being
That's top 10.
or worthy of being at least thought about, considered. And then I whittle that down. But in the movies, I go, yeah.
I went through the list on Wikipedia of all the movies released in 2023, and I would just go down the list. I saw that one, and then there's some that when I put in parentheses DNF, like in Formula One racing, did not finish.
Right.
And Extraction 2 was one of those, which
Wow.
sucks because I loved Extraction 1.
Yeah.
I love the first Extraction.
I dare to say Extraction 2 might be better than Extraction 1. Let me rephrase that. I might like it. I think I might like it more. I'm going to rephrase to fit our current.
We're on the scale.
Yeah, we're on the scale. But I really enjoyed the fuck out of Extraction 2. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was dope. I love the ending, which I can't talk about because you haven't seen. But
I mean, I'll try.
It's really no, you don't have to. I mean, it's a thing. But if you don't like it, you don't. I mean, trust me, dude. There's plenty of movies that I haven't finished, and people are like, "You should go back and finish it." I'm like, And again, I'm not doubting the worthiness of the movies. I was just saying I wasn't. I'll tell you the one right now that everybody loves is that Simon Pegg movie, End of the World, or End whatever the fuck it's called, End of something.
Oh yeah,
the one that they go on a bar on a bar crawl.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it. But I did not finish. I DNF'd that movie. And everybody swears by it. Everybody's like, hey, you gotta go back. And I'm like, I'm never gonna go back and watch that movie, bro. It's like that movie's gotta catch me on a plane where I can't physically leave
where you can't get away
from
it.
I can't get away from it. Like that movie's gotta catch me there.
Yeah.
But
I would rather look at this blank screen and look up at the ceiling and rather than watch this movie.
I would rather I don't understand. I would rather play solitaire for the next 12 hours than But again, I'm not saying that the movie's bad. I'm just saying I have zero interest in finishing watching it. So I'm not gonna try to force you to rewatch or finish Extraction 2. I'm just saying I dug the fuck out of Extraction 2. I dug the shit out of it. And I kind of dug it against my will. Because I didn't want to like it. I was like, okay, here we go again. This guy's fucking dead. All of a sudden, he's gonna come back. This fucking like I went in there with that attitude, and then I was like, and then it quickly just going, all right, he's alive, bro. I don't give a fuck. Like it's like that. Like it's whatever.
All right,
they explain it. They explain it. He went to the best hospital. Blah 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 blah. And then, even though there was still a part of me like, all right, this guy, he's not even fully fucking healthy yet. He's gonna go,
get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. And then enough karate chops and bullets flew by the screen that I was like, wait, let's hear him out. Let's see what happens. So I'm fully aware,
brothers. Let's hear these guys out.
Yeah, I'm fully aware, bro.
Let's see what they have to offer.
I thought that there was a chance you would have Extraction 2 on your list only because you had that Chris Evans Russo brothers movie on.
Oh, the Gray Man?
Yeah, the Gray Man, which I did not enjoy at all, but you really liked it and you had it on your list last year. Yeah. So as I'm watching Extraction 2, I'm like, oh, fucking Mike's gonna like this.
I will tell you, there was the Chris Evans, Ana de Armas movie, Ghosted, was a huge pile of shit to me.
Yeah. Preach.
I'm sorry. I don't want to disturb your Latino sensibilities.
No, I thought it was a huge. But you know what? It's funny. I thought it was at least a comical piece of shit. Like it had comedy in it.
Yes.
So I'm like,
I did not. I finished it. It was not a DNF. I finished Ghosted. Maybe that was my fault.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
It was just too much to me. That movie was, but again, it was it's a comedy action movie, so I'm like, I gave it more leeway in the sense of, I'm not saying it was good, but in the sense of like, I don't think this movie was trying to be great.
It
I
was
think this
trying to
movie
be
was,
True Lies, is what it was. It was trying to be like
oh,
a True Lies esque.
if you say it that way, I hate this movie. It's you insulted True Lies, you son of a bitch.
True Lies, Black
What?
American cinema masterpiece. True Lies. I love it.
Which is now available for the first time ever on digital. By the way, it was released on digital for the first time ever.
Is it in the family share?
Like 2 months. It is in the family share.
It is in the
Absolutely
family. We
is.
should watch
Yeah.
it. We should do it.
As well as The Abyss, which they both were simultaneously released on digital for the first time ever.
Is it the full version or the edited version? Because the edited version doesn't have the wave and the reason why.
Well,
at the end,
it's in a family share. It's in a family share, bro.
I will look because, I have the DVD from a million years ago, and it is the full version. It is the director's cut.
Those movies never even came out on Blu-ray, FYI.
Yeah,
they never even came out on Blu-ray, so now they're on digital. So, all right, go ahead. Your number 6, bro.
My number 6 is what I write. Creed 3.
Oof.
No.
I liked Creed 3, and I would have loved it had it not been for Creed 1 or 2.
Interesting.
That movie did not hold up for me. But go ahead. I literally watched it yesterday. By the way, I rewatched it again yesterday. I'm not even exaggerating.
Movies you don't like again?
Again, it's not that you're not hearing me. I didn't say I didn't like the movie.
Oh, it's not top 10.
It's just not top 10, and I just love its predecessors more.
Right. Fair. That's fair. I liked the movie. I loved the kind of like Creed 3 is Rocky 5, I think, in my opinion, or some sort of like where reclaiming the title and like staying on top and like the whole thing of like defining yourself and then like who you left behind and all that, like when like I like those dynamics of it. It felt very kind of like Shakespearean to me, of like the failed brother or whatever it was comes back, and
the betrayal
and then also like the kind of, I loved actually the fight. It was directed by Michael B. Jordan. It was the first time he directed his first movie, and it had a lot of really interesting anime influences, which he loves anime, and I was like really excited to catch those influences in the fight choreography, and like as someone who would like loved Dragon Ball Z and loved some of these other like animes that he's pulling from, it's like watching certain things where I'm like, oh fuck, I know that I can see where he's pulling from. And also it helped kind of like make what could be pretty boring boxing action, like, or very phony baloney looking boxing action, more like impactful. I thought it was, I really liked it, and it's high on my list. It was between, I mean, if I would have bumped off Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, it would be lower. I would have put something else, maybe I would have maneuvered it a little, but it's definitely on my list of top 10. I enjoyed the shit out of that movie, and I feel bad that that Jonathan Majors is a piece of, like he's kind of fallen from grace and all that stuff, because he does a great job in that movie, and it sucks that he's good in things, and now he's like,
So I had a couple issues with so I enjoyed the movie a lot. There's a lot of things I really enjoyed about the movie. I felt the movie, there were times where it was rushed and it did not make sense in some aspects. The time where he goes on Stephen A. Smith's show, First Take, this is really annoying to me, because I feel like, and I said this on another podcast, I feel like it was very clunky, but they still got to. I feel like they just go, okay, we're gonna have him on First Take, and then Jonathan Majors is gonna call in, and then they're gonna announce the fight on First Take with Stephen A. Smith. And I feel like that's all they had. I feel like they didn't have nobody actually sat down to write the scene, because it felt clunky. Because why is Michael B. Jordan? Why is his character? Why is Adonis on First Take to begin with? Because they said that there's no reason for him to be on First Take, because the only reason to be on First Take, Stephen A. Smith says in that scene, I'm guessing you're here to address the rumors or what's being said by your homeboy, by what's his name, by Majors. And he says, no, I'm not here to talk about that. And then Majors calls in and goes, and just starts talking shit to him, right? One, First Take is not a call-in show. So as a fan of First Take,
I mean,
I'm already like, all right, suspension of disbelief. Let's move on. Let's just get to the goal, right? Because again, these are all steps that I feel are like you're just doing this just to get to the ultimate goal. Which ultimate goal still worked. The scene where he goes, all right, it's fucking on. Like that scene, that portion still worked. The payoff was still there, but the way you got there, I feel like it was so clunky.
Yeah,
And then it's not a call-in show. Majors is watching that in the nighttime. There's darkness. First Take airs at 11 a.m., which even in LA time is fucking sunlight. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's still, and all of these things are kind of weird. And I feel like the conversation is more like, oh, I don't want to talk about that right now. Then why would you be on that show, Adonis? Why would you be on that show if you're not there to talk about the fucking fight? What are you promoting? You're not promoting anything. What are you doing?
Oh, you froze. Good. Thank God. Oh no, I hope he's okay. I hope we didn't lose him. I will say, audience, the idea of bringing on non-actors, Stephen A. Smith, I do not like that guy. I don't like everything on ESPN that isn't sports coverage is literally just people gossiping about sports.
Correct.
Everything that's on First Take, any of those ESPN shows if it's not Sports Center showing me highlights or news, it is literally just people going like, "Ooh, details! Like, what are we talking about?" That's literally all it is.
So that's why
hold on. So Stephen A. Smith, that whole scene is probably as good as it could have been because Stephen A. Smith sucks. I
disagree, man.
I don't like that guy.
But I don't need you to like that guy. He didn't do a bad job. I think it has to make sense as to what is he doing there. If he would have just said, "Here, hey man, I'm here to promote my annual fucking charity event," and then the other guy calls in, okay, now we're talking. But there was not. It just felt like a clunky way to get there. Then the other thing that bothered me, the in-ring announcing was really fucking bad, bro. It was really bad. And I say this as somebody who loves the Rocky franchise, has seen every Rocky movie multiple times, and I could as I'm watching it for the first time, I watched this movie for the first time in Cozumel. As I'm watching this movie, I'm super pumped for this movie. I'm watching this movie and I'm like, man, this ring announcing is bad. It's really fucking bad. They got real ring announcers, right? But the problem is that they didn't get good ones. And there's a difference between real ring announcers and announcing a movie for a movie.
Right.
They've had real ring announcers in the past.
There's the thing of like the law of diminishing returns. Like you at a certain point, too much authenticity is not what you need. You need enough authenticity for the thing you're trying to do. So I fully understand it. I get it. And I don't like Stephen A. Smith, but that one scene or whatever, all these little critiques did not ruin the movie for me.
It took me out of the movie. It did it again. I'm not saying
Alicia Rashad.
I'm not even saying, oh, she was so great. That was the best part of the movie, dude. That was such heart.
Come on.
She was amazing. She was amazing. Again, I'm not saying I didn't like this movie. I'm saying these are the reasons why I didn't make my top 10. I'm saying that these are the reasons why I couldn't love the movie. I like the movie. It's a good movie, but I did not.
Well, we got to wrap up our number 6.
Sorry.
It's just how much we love Creed, the Rocky franchise.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's my number 6. So you have Extraction 2 and Creed 3, where you go, and then. Okay, our next Oscars category. Does it have?
Yeah, it has something, but you gotta.
Oh yeah, I got a thumbs down. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. I don't. We'll do two. The two? No.
I don't know. No? I don't know. I can't even get mine to do it. I don't know what's going on with mine.
But I don't know. We're gonna go with visual effects. This is the spectacular, and this has a few movies. This is one that I am dying to see that I missed in theater.
No, well, this I'm already telling you. This has a couple movies on my top 5. So.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm sure it will. The Creator.
Okay.
Godzilla -1.
Fantastic.
I have to see
Apparently,
it.
he spent $27 on those effects, and those effects blow everything else out of the water. Which is fucking
Legitimately,
crazy. Yeah.
I'm dying to see that movie. It hasn't come out on streaming or anything.
That's a comedic
I missed it.
exaggeration. He spent more than $27. I just want to make sure for anybody listening that they go, I think he spent more than $27. It's a comedic effect there.
Easy,
Go
buddy. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3,
Uh-huh.
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, and Napoleon,
What-
which is
but
there
what-
for bullshit.
What effects? What effects are there in Mission Impossible? I thought that was
No,
all.
he rode his fucking motorcycle off a mountain.
What the fuck? What's happening? He
You
really
talking
did
about- what
that.
Now,
Guardians
wait,
is gonna
you know
win
what?
that.
Which
Guardians
one?
is gonna win that.
I always forget which one is. There's special effects and visual effects.
Is it? I thought it was
Yes.
all the same. No.
Yes, special effects are practical, and visual effects are CG. So these are.
Interesting.
I was right. So this is visual effects. This is computer stuff.
Yes.
So, I will say. So you're
Oh,
saying
wouldn't Guardians be under special effects? Like, because they got a real raccoon, so that's a thing. That was like
I mean,
practical.
it could be.
That,
It could
that
be,
was practical.
but visual effects is the computer stuff. You can be nominated for both, I think. Star
Yeah.
Wars for sure has been nominated for both. That's the only Oscar it's won, I think, is special effects.
Did it win? I don't remember
yeah.
it winning. Hey man,
Yeah,
Suicide Squad won special effects, so I mean, take that for what it's worth. That's an Oscar winner.
The
bro.
Suicide Squad or Suicide Squad?
No, Suicide Squad.
No, the?
No, the.
No, I know.
That's,
I know.
That's an Oscar winner. That's an Oscar winner.
Guys, what are we doing if
Yeah.
a Suicide Squad?
I'm gonna go with Guardians is my clear. There's a couple movies I didn't see. Creator looked amazing though. It did look great. I'm not gonna lie, but Guardians.
Right.
Man.
I hope here. So I don't know. I haven't seen. I've seen them. I want to see. The thing is, I haven't seen Godzilla -1, and I hope Godzilla -1 wins because I wanted to send the message that, hey, good VFX isn't about money; it's about time and like dedication.
It's not all about money. It's not all about money.
It's not all about money, right?
There is
like
money involved.
the budget, like Godzilla -1 was like $27 million or something like crazy small considering what it is.
Right.
I want that one to win so that it doesn't, so like it sends the message of like, hey, how about we do, how about we pay attention to this
I just want to clarify because there's always people that go, they saying like, oh, that's an independent movie. He made that movie for peanuts. It only cost him $7 million. I'm like, That's
$7 million.
That's a lot of fucking money. $7 million is a lot of money, and people are like, "Oh, Tarantino only made Reservoir Dogs for $2 million." I'm like, that's still like that's like a lot of like that's a lot of money, and people. So it's a weird scale, I get. So I always try to tell people like, it's. Really
I mean, it's a tricky balance to say whatever like to point it.
Right.
We are now going to number 5s. What is your five?
I'm gonna go with a movie that I'm pretty sure you have not seen, only because I don't think I've ever met anybody else who has seen a movie, and it's Guy Ritchie's The Covenant.
Okay, it's on. It was literally on like all of my lists to see because it looks dope.
Fucking amazing, dude.
Okay, really? Okay.
So good. Jake Gyllenhaal, Guy Ritchie movie, and his least Guy Ritchie film ever made.
That's a selling point to me.
Only because he didn't direct the movie, he produced the movie. So he has his name on the title because his name draws tickets. Right. That's right. But it's not Guy Ritchie as it. I meant, you know what? Can you fact check that for me? I before I speak out of turn, because I know Guy Ritchie's involved. I was pretty sure he didn't direct it, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to get that one wrong.
No. It says here director Guy Ritchie, writer Guy Ritchie.
Okay, there you go. All right,
this is Guy Ritchie's movie.
So I was confusing it for another movie that somebody else did that with. Anyways, so Guy Ritchie directed this movie, but it is his least Guy Ritchie movie ever. It does not do the time jump stuff. Bucking, this is what he doesn't do any of that. And it is a phenomenal movie, and it gets at you. It's so well done. Like, it was so good that I had to Google, did this really happen? And like it was
really?
so good. And then people were like, no, it didn't happen, but it could have. Like that's the internet's response.
Right. Yeah, that's the Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, it's a
No.
story.
The Pope's
It's a
Exorcist. The
story.
Pope's Exorcist was like, this really happened. And then Guy Covenant was like, Guy Ritchie's Covenant.
Covenant.
It was like it. I mean, who knows what happened in Afghanistan? Who knows? Who knows what happened?
Hey,
Which one
it's
of us
not
is able to say?
impossible that it happened.
Correct.
It's
But this
not
movie
impossible.
is fucking amazing. It is so good on so many levels.
Really?
It was literally edge of my seat. Holy shit, what's gonna happen? What's going to happen? It was great.
Interesting.
It was fucking great.
I'm
This is a movie
curious.
I regretted not being able to watch in the theaters. Again, I just wasn't able to physically
Oh,
be there. I wasn't able to I just didn't have the opportunity time to be
right.
able to go. But it was great, man. Fantastic. Acting, Jake Gyllenhaal, and again, he's a great actor. Like there's nobody that I've never heard anybody question Jake Gyllenhaal's acting ability, whether or not you like the movies or not. But his acting ability is great. But
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
great. He's fucking great, man.
He's one of those guys that if he's in something, I'll pay attention to it.
Sure.
Like just because of how much I feel like he tries. There's
Yeah.
nothing worse than when you see somebody who's good and then they go into something and they're like phoning it in, and you're like, eh.
There's a lot of actors, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna happen. But The Little Mermaid, that movie was ruined for me by
Really?
by Benicio del Toro. It just he ruined that movie. Like his acting was like a cardboard.
bad?
You might as well have put a cardboard sign of King Triton. It was bad, dude. His acting was. I mean, I'm not a fan of his. I'm not a fan of his acting in general. But this is by far the most just.
That's interesting. 'Cause,
in.
one of the movies I saw last year with him in it was this movie called Reptile. Did you see that one? It had Justin Timberlake in it. Alicia Silverstone plays Benicio del Toro's his wife, and it's like about uncovering like a murder thing, like a murder plot, like a conspiracy to commit murder.
Yeah.
Like there's like a lot of people involved. It was interesting. It was a good movie, and it was. I don't think he did a poor job. I just think that he gets cast like, I'll say it. Robert De Niro plays Robert De Niro and everything lately. He's playing Benicio del Toro and everything lately. You know, King Triton. I didn't know. I didn't watch it.
No, yeah. Well, I would have killed. I would have killed for him to have played Benicio del Toro in Little Mermaid. He literally. It's like every time he was on, and it wasn't a lot, but every time he was on the screen, I was like, this fucking guy again. God damn, this guy again. Yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry. So you're number 5.
My number 5 is it might get table. Well, no. My number 5 is Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves.
Table.
Interesting.
Table.
And dragons. Want to talk about it so bad? Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right. Our next category from the Oscars. We can go with. Would you want to go with? Well, no. Fuck it. I'll choose. We'll go cinematography.
Sure.
Because hey, man, it's all about images. It's all about pretty pictures, one after the other, and it's all about not knowing any of these movies. I know them. There's Killers of the Flower Moon.
Fantastic.
Maestro. The Bradley Cooper.
Nothing says more fucking pretentious. Look at me, I won an Oscar than fucking making a movie in black and white. You're like, oh, fuck off. Fuck off.
Oppenheimer has.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and then something called El Conde. I don't know what El Conde is.
Well, as the resident Latino voter here, no, I don't know that one either. I don't know that one either.
Oh, it's a Nazi thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. It's not I saw the thing. It's a military uniform. And El Conde is after living 250 years in this world, Augusto Pinochet, who is not dead, but an aged vampire, decides to die once and for all. What? It's about known dictator Pinochet from Chile is a vampire?
I'm interested. I'm watching. I'm listening.
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no. I did not know what this is. I did not know what that was, but it's like I wasn't familiar with your game,
Sure.
El Conde. But now I want to see it. But again, in black and white.
Sure.
It's got a lot of black and white. So what do you think? And Poor Things. Did I say Poor Things?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Flower Moon, man. Martin Scorsese, cinematographer, has been the same forever. I mean, I don't change it. The images are great. The images are fantastic. So.
Oh, okay. I will say, I think Oppenheimer is gonna get it, but I really want.
I really do think he's gonna get it. I mean, I don't think Oppenheimer. I mean, I don't think that's a bad choice either.
Yeah, so. I mean, obviously, I have not seen Poor Things yet, so it probably looks amazing, but I have not seen it. I have not seen Maestro is a DNF for me. I could not get through it. I could not get through it.
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to say it's a DNF because it's more like a DNS. Where I maybe saw the first 2 minutes of it. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this. I'm not watching.
Forget this. This is bullshit.
So you can call it a DNF for me, but I really didn't even give it a shot. I was like, I don't give a fuck about
no,
this.
thank you.
No.
All right, let's get to number 4.
Wait, by the way, Hilda came in with a great catch here. It's Javier Bardem, not Benicio del Toro.
Oh,
so thank you for that clarification. Thank you for that heads up. Yes. Both bad actors in my opinion, but yes, Javier Bardem.
No!
Yeah, I don't like.
Oh, is that because you're Latino, but you're anti-colonial because he's from Spain?
From Spain, yeah. So
I get it.
And I don't like the fucking fact that he keeps getting work for Latinos. He keeps getting work as a Latino. And like, oh, this part was fucking Ricky Ricardo. Let's get motherfucker. Are you out of your mind? Are you fucking serious? Don't even, bro. Don't bring my fucking tin hat on, bro. I'll go ape shit on this one. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Number 4?
Hilda's number 6 was TMNT Mutant Mayhem, which I think should have been nominated for.
That's what I'm saying. I firmly believe Elemental got in there because it's a Pixar movie. And they're like, well, we got to put a Pixar movie in here. And I'm like, this is I'm telling you. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a fan. Let's see. We go with Guardians. She says Yolanda says Guardians for the
special effects. Yeah.
All right, let's go to our number 4s. We have where's my list? You go. Your number 4.
My number 4 is Haunted Mansion.
How many horror movies are you going to put on your list, man?
I'm just saying, man. You're really dug
branching out.
Movie. I really dug this movie.
We haven't done an episode in a year, and who are you? Where's Narius?
But I love this movie. I had zero expectations for this movie. I went because my wife wanted to go. I was like, all right, let's go. And we went on a date night, and I thought it was fucking great. Everything. I'm not the biggest fan of the Haunted Mansion ride. I know that's sacrilege in Florida to say that and whatever. I don't give a fuck about. Here's the thing. I didn't go to Disney World as a child, so I went there already in my late teens, early 20s. Is when the first time I went to Disney. So I don't have that connection with certain rides. One of which being the Haunted Mansion. And it's fine. I'm not dogging anybody who has that connection. I'm just saying I don't care about it one way or the other. So when I went to go watch this movie, I went because my wife had a connection with this ride. So I went to go watch it. And I was like, this movie. I came out of the movie like, this is the shit. Like, I fucking love this movie.
Because there was a shitty one with Eddie Murphy a couple years ago.
But I didn't watch it.
What was this one? What was this one?
It was like everybody who's not famous. Like it was a lot of. No, that's not true. Danny DeVito's in this movie. I think Eva Mendes. No, it's not Eva Mendes. What's her name? Fuck, I'm really bad. I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at this. But she. I'm not thinking about Eva Mendes. I'm thinking about. She plays.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah. She's. I know the moment you tell me, I'm gonna be like, of course, her, whatever.
The Haunted Mansion. Let me see.
Yeah, so it was great, man. It was comical. It was
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson. That's what I'm thinking. I was thinking of Night Nurse, and I'm like, why can't I fucking remember her name? Night Nurse.
Owen Wilson is in it.
Owen Wilson's in it. So the movie's good, even though Owen Wilson is in it. So that's how good the movie is.
Oh wow, I see what you're saying. There's like a million people in this movie.
There's a million people in this movie.
There was one that came out a couple years ago, I think, called From the Muppets, or it was on like a Halloween special of the Muppet Haunted Mansion on Disney Plus. Did you see that one?
No.
I love that one. But that is if you love the ride kind of a vibe. I don't know. I have to watch this one.
And also, the
I'll
Muppets
give
can
it-
do no wrong. Like you can make any movie the Muppets and it'd be fucking better. Like you
That
put,
was-
literally put Scarface and put Muppets, and this is a better fucking film than
That
we
was
got.
a meme that was going around. That was like, what movie? You know how there's always like one human
Yeah.
person and then everybody's Muppets.
Yeah.
What movie would you want to watch where it was just one actor?
There's so many. Yeah.
And someone said, someone said The Great Gatsby as all Muppet and straight down the barrel, not a comedy Muppet movie,
Sure.
like not a comedy with Muppets.
Sure.
And I was like, and then somebody wrote a script, and I have it.
Yeah, it's great. But
great.
Haunted Mansion is fantastic. Sorry. Haunted Mansion. Sorry.
The boat is sinking. The boat is sinking.
Haunted Mansion is fantastic. It's funny. It's scary. The visual effects are that's one I got fucking snubbed for visual effects right there. Visual effects were pristine, dude. I enjoyed everything about the Haunted Mansion. Everything. From the fact that the majority of the main cast are minorities, people of color. I fucking love that shit too. And it didn't like, this is one of those movies where it came out right when the strike happened. So it couldn't get,
it got buried.
It got buried. People couldn't promote it. But this is one of those movies where I wanted it to do good because I wanted the studios to be like, look, you could make a movie full of minorities and it not be detrimental, because that's what Hollywood thinks, right? That's what the thing is. Studios think we can't put too many Latinos because then it'll be a Latino movie and then white people won't go watch it. Like that's what they believe. It's just, I believe in good product, and this is a good product. My Haunted Mansion was great.
I'm putting it on the list. It's on the list of things to watch, along with the Vampire Pinochet movie. All right,
sure. And Extraction too. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
My number 5 or what? 4.
Four
is my number 4 is Oppenheimer. I'm going Oppenheimer, and it is because it's fantastic. It was great. Super powerful acting from the main people, and also like it left you with this like feeling of oh no.
Yeah. It did a really good job of like, I didn't know what was happening in the movie. Like I didn't know the fission and fusion because I'm not a fucking chemist. I didn't know what the fuck those two things. I didn't know cinematically how he had split those up and how it meant. Like I didn't understand. And then when the movie finished, I was like, oh, I gotta go back and watch this or not. Like I literally said this. I'm like, now you're gonna make me go back and watch this so I can know what the fuck is happening now. Like it was one of those. But it's great filmmaking. Christopher Nolan. You know,
it is one of the, again, Chris Nolan is the king of, after you watch a movie, you're like, let me go see what the fuck that was all about. You know what I mean? Like, what is happening here? You're like, I have questions, but he's the kind of king.
But you don't want to. Those are you go. I have questions, but I don't want to ask my friends who watch the movie because I don't want them to know that I'm stupid. So I'll just Google these questions on myself and just be like,
for this movie in particular, it was like none of my friends are smart enough to talk about. Where can I find some hot takes on this that aren't just like, I don't know, shoot water at it, or like what? It was one of those moments.
This guy's throwing water on it. Like an idiot. This guy.
What's this guy doing?
This guy's doing water. Oh man, he's like 6 months behind, bro.
Los Alamos. That's not even the Alamo. That's not what the Alamo looks like. Get the fuck out of here. It's like,
hey, bring back that naked broad. Bring back that naked broad, man.
Hey, those performances were amazing. Florence Pugh was great.
Yes.
I will say this.
I didn't realize I was Florence Pugh. Can I just tell you that I'm one of your dumb friends who because I remember.
You don't think I know that?
The first time I watched Florence Pugh was in Black Widow. So I just know her with the accent. Like, and I think she's Russian, right?
She's Russian? Yeah.
So when she's not speaking with her accent, I'm like, who is this amazing actress? And I looked it up and I'm like, Florence
Really?
Pugh. No, no. She's Russian. That's not. This is not. That's not the
She
same
was in a movie. She was in a movie this year that I think should get mentioned, honorable mention. It's called A Good Person, directed by Zach Braff of Scrubs fame and whatever the Garden State.
Oh,
He
lost me with the Garden State. That's why I was like, "Oh, Zach Braff, turning that off." I'm not
this
watching
movie,
that shit.
really, really good story. She's amazing in it. She's the main character, but it's like one of those movies where, as I was watching it, I was like, "This deserves awards." Where I am Morgan Freeman is also in it, and I am shocked that he did not get like this movie should, if it had more attention, I think would have gotten nominated. Morgan Freeman is amazing in it. Florence Pugh is amazing in it, and it's a super heavy drama about addiction and loss and grief, and it is bonkers.
I do remember hearing about that movie. Yes. They have a comment. They share us. Yeah. Okay, I remember.
Yes, it's her whatever. It's a car accident. Somebody dies. It's like it's a brilliant movie. Hilda says her number 5 was Oppenheimer and number 4 is Dungeons and Dragons, and they were both tied for me, but ranked D&D slightly higher due to how many times I'll probably rewatch both of them. I've already rewatched Dungeons and Dragons a few times, but what a crazy year to have that sentence happen where it's like Oppenheimer and Dungeons and Dragons are the same for me. They're tied, just as good.
Is that any more or less ridiculous than hearing Oppenheimer and Barbie? Both, no, it's one of those crazy stories. This is what I love about good filmmaking. Like, you could take if you take a topic, if you do good filmmaking, if you do have good writing, good acting,
what's good is good.
It's good, yeah. So all right,
let's go to I'm gonna
say you have to go actress. You have to go actress or actor, and then movie, right?
So you see, I was gonna go director, and then
Okay.
I was gonna go director. But no, we can call it on.
No, but you got to go. So we have 4 left. We got director, actor, actress, and then movie.
Picture.
Okay, so there you go.
So best director, we have where is this directing? Anatomy of a Fall, Justine Triet. Killers of a Flower Moon, some guy Martin Scorsese. Oppenheimer, Chris Nolan. Poor Things, Yorgos Lanthimos. And Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer. Now, I've heard things about a lot of these movies. They're on my list to watch. I have not seen all of them. But the directing award is about the structure and the composition and all the pieces coming together well. With that said, what is your pick?
I think Oppenheimer is going to win because the Academy loves Christopher Nolan, and I think he's going to win. Not that he doesn't deserve it. I would go with Flower Moon. I would go because I even though he doesn't like the movies that I like, I am a huge fan of Martin Scorsese, and as a filmmaker and as an artist, I have not seen I honestly have not watched a Martin Scorsese movie and gone, this is shit. Even Sense and Sensibility, which by the way he directed and got nominated. Yeah, Sense and Sensibility is directed by Martin Scorsese, and he directed that after he directed other mob movies. So it wasn't even like, oh, this is pre his mob era. No, he didn't. Even Sense and Sensibility, which is not a top 5 Scorsese movie for me in any which way, shape, or form, is still a very well made movie.
Right. So he's good at putting the pieces together, you're saying?
He's good at getting the pieces together, and he's good at getting the performances out of his actors, which is the number one job, in my opinion, of a director. So whenever people go like, oh man, it's weird because so and so was in this movie, but it wasn't a good performance, or I don't know,
like Javier Bardem.
I don't think he's a good actor regardless. I don't think anybody's ever gotten a good performance out of Javier Bardem. I just don't like the guy. Period.
Tinfoil hat.
I just don't like the guy.
I get it.
And but regardless, I'm sorry. let me
this
Latino
is
it
a
up
Miami show.
Let me Latino it up for you. Irregardless,
bro.
There's never been a time that Scorsese has come out with a movie that I would not be happy with him winning the Oscar. In fact, the one time he did win it for Aviator, I was like, okay. I mean, there's better Scorsese movies out there, but I'll take it. But okay, fine.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Martin Scorsese might not like the movies I like, but Chris Nolan, his favorite movie is The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights. Yeah. So he gets my pick.
That's
Forever
fair.
and always.
That's fair.
He was on what's that show? Who's
And
that
he
guy?
likes, and he legitimately likes the Fast and the Furious movies.
He talks about them like they're high art. I love this guy. I fucking love this
They
guy.
even asked him, "Oh, you have a bit of a guilty," and he's like, "There's nothing guilty about
There's
my
nothing guilty about it. He literally, they were like, "Oh, you like Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby?" And his response was, "Quote: If you ain't first, you're last."
Yeah.
He quoted the movie. He can do no wrong. I love it, and also, what an
But he
insane,
can't do wrong because he did other movies that he did wrong.
that they did wrong. Yeah, but he still has endeared himself to me forever.
Very much. I agree. Him and Scorsese are the exact opposites. I love Scorsese films in spite of him talking shit about the movies I love, and you love Nolan films, especially because he loves the movies that you love. Like I get it. I'm with both of those statements. I like both of those statements. I agree.
That's and also Oppenheimer was an incredible what a crazy story to tell. What a weird ass movie to pick. And it's great, and it came together, and it was amazing performances, like you said, pulling performances out of people. His RDJ was incredible, and in that movie, and I think like
RDJ won a BAFTA, and he in that speech is where he said, "This is the best movie I've ever been on."
Yeah,
like he was like, "Hey, Russos, go fuck yourself."
Yeah. You fucking peel me off, I'll show you.
Show you off,
I'm gonna win a fucking Oscar. Number threes. Let's go to number 3. What is your
Dungeons and Dragons is my number 3. What a good movie. We talked about this on Movie Bros. I am not a Dungeons and Dragons guy. I have never played a D&D game in my life, so I had zero knowledge and base of I have zero frame of reference. And I just went in there and had such a fun game, such a fun game. Listen, such a fun time watching this film. And I believe, as of right now, that is the best. I can't even call it a video game because Dungeons and Dragons, I know is a video game, but it's technically a card game. Yeah. So I was gonna say it's the best movie ever made based on a video game, but it's not really based on a video game. I mean, there are video games of it, but it's not the same.
It is Jonathan. Every time they said Jonathan, I would just giggle like a little kid. And also I will say, because this was my pick. This was my number 5. The whole aspect of when you play Dungeons and Dragons, you bring your own character to this world, and you get to it's like this is the reverse of what normally happens, where you see a movie and then you imagine or you read a book, or you see a TV show and you imagine yourself. What would you do in that world, and what would be your actions in that? If I was a Harry Potter wizard school attendant, if I was student, if I was in Game of Thrones, dead immediately, I would have died immediately. But if I was but like in Dungeons and Dragons, it's the reverse. There's this world, you play your characters, and now they've made a movie where they have to write a version of this that still feels true to like all the stuff you can do in that world. And then at a certain point, when they start breaking little things down, and there's so many little Easter eggs and so many nuanced little storytelling things, it made me so happy, so giddy.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of the movie. I thought it was funny. I thought it was heartwarming. I thought it was great. It was like that whole thing where he digs up the bodies and asks 2 questions, and then it's just fucking great. It's funny.
Amazing.
It's funny.
Yes,
I love the fact that there was a fat dragon. I mean, like, finally representation in the dragon world. I get, you know what I mean? Like, fat guys, we don't get enough representation on film. We're all seen as a dumb, goofy guys, and this fat dragon was like, no, that's not.
He does get stuck in a little hole like Winnie the Pooh.
Husky dragon. I'm sorry. He identifies as husky, so I gotta say.
One again, amazing movie. I loved it. It's on my top 10. I will watch it again. I'm praying they make more.
They've announced.
Oh, they've announced it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm dying to play Dungeons and Dragons again. I don't have a game going on right now, which we can solve your not having played Dungeons and Dragons problem. But my number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
That is table.
Okay, fair. Our next Oscars category is Best Actor in a Leading Role, and we have Bradley Cooper, Maestro, Don't make noises. Coleman Domingo in Rustin, Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction.
I've only seen Oppenheimer, so I can't.
Tough category,
It's a tough category for me.
Yeah. Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, I mean, I have to. I can't with all. I haven't. I refuse to see. You know what? I want Bradley Cooper to win it, so you can stop making these fucking artsy fartsy movies. I just fucking win one already and just be done with it, and then you know what I mean. Again, this is the only Bradley Cooper movie that I think I don't ever see myself watching a movie. Again, we've already talked about this. I'm not going to be a dead horse, but I've heard him on podcasts, and he sounds like a super solid, really cool guy, down to earth guy.
Dude,
I want Bradley Cooper to win it. But I've only seen Oppenheimer, so
Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer. Every once in a while, I'll just go back to the video of him and Jimmy Fallon wearing those visors with the fake hair in it, and they're trying to do a straight interview, and they can't hold their shit together. He's just a good, he's a great interview. He's a good talk show guest. Every time you hear about him, they show he was in the actor's studio asking questions.
Yes, to De Niro.
To then come be on the show, and he made James Lipton cry. I get it. Also, he disappeared up his own asshole with this movie Maestro, and I could not care less about it.
He disappeared up his own asshole. It's hilarious.
What do you want me to tell you? But I will say, my choice of the movie, because I DNF'd Maestro, I saw The Holdovers and Oppenheimer. Paul Giamatti needs to win. Paul Giamatti is amazing, and I want him to win, especially for this movie.
Chubby bald guy, I'm in, bro. I'm in. Fucking hey, give it to him.
Latinos, chubby bald guys. Yeah. Just everything is I want to see me.
Yeah, I want to see me. I want a chubby fat kid growing up to be like, hey, I could do that too. I'm somebody else has done it before me, so I could do it too. All right.
Let's go number twos.
Number two and number one are 1A and 1B, and I'm only gonna go number two because of whatever. But my number two is Blue Beetle, and I absolutely fucking adore this movie on multiple levels. This is the prime example of so Ari Spears, who was a big fan of superhero movies, right? We know what, and then every time the Blue Beetle trailer would come out, he was like, dude, that shit looks so dope. And I told him, I'm trying to temper my expectations for this movie because the trailer does look amazing. And then he says, are you going to go watch it? And he says, what do you think? And I said, I got to be honest with you. This is before the movie came out. Even if the movie's hot garbage, I'm going to fucking love this movie because of everything else that it represents. Everything else. The fucking Latino superhero, a real Latino superhero, not one that's like, hey, brown cougars here. It's not, it's like, I'm talking about a real fucking brown cougar. Yeah, I'm talking about an established character. I'm talking about an established character that was Hispanic in the comics that they didn't force. It's not like, oh, well, the Latinos need a superhero too, so let's get a Latino.
Miles Morales.
Yeah. So, and again, that's another thing that bothers me about the Miles Morales thing is that they bury his Latino-ness in the movies. And they're like, oh, he's just black. And I'm like,
he is also yeah.
But I love
a lot of hard mixed feelings about his mom. Hard to process feelings about an animated character about what's his mom's name? What's Miles Morales' mom's name?
I don't know. Milagros? I don't know. Carmen? I don't know. I'm pretty close.
I don't. It could be any variation.
I'm pretty close. I don't know, man. But back to Blue Beetle. The way I characterize this movie afterwards is Iron Man with more heart, and Iron Man is still one of my top 5 favorite MCU movies. And I think this is, and it's funny because Aries didn't like Blue Beetle because he said it's like an Iron Man ripoff, and I'm like, but this is what the comics are. Yeah, the comics, Blue Beetle is Iron Man in the comics. This is not it's not like they go, well, Iron Man works, so let's put some Latino in a suit. That's not what they did for the movie. So, but I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I got very emotional watching this movie. Not for just what was on the screen, but what was on the screen. Not with just what was happening on the screen, but just on the fact that
was on there.
Me watching this movie with my son it was a huge deal for me. Like that was a big deal. I was like, my son now, this is how big of a deal it is. He doesn't think it's a big deal. So I told my son, I'm like, guys, this is a big deal. This is the first Latino superhero. And my son said, what's Latino? And I'm like, okay. So now, but this is a good thing, to be honest, because he lives in a world where there's no
It
separation.
doesn't matter.
He lives in a world where there's no separation for him. He was 8 years old at the time this movie came out, so he doesn't understand. To him, it's all normal. To him, seeing a black Spider-Man, Miles is his favorite Spider-Man.
That's his Spider-Man, yeah.
That's his Spider-Man. So that
yeah,
to him, it's not a thing. So I thought it was a good. I was like, again, I got very emotional watching this movie.
I feel bad DNFing this movie.
Okay.
I feel guilty because it wasn't about the movie itself. It was about, at the time I was watching it, was right after I watched The Flash, and all of the DC stuff had just been like erased from existence, and this was like a remnant in my mind of a bigger story. So I was like struggling to really I got it, and I was like, man, there's so much. I just couldn't really get into it, and I do not like George Lopez as much as I think, and it was grinding my gears every time he would show up. So I was like struggling with that character a little bit. And
my one gripe with the movie, and I think you will agree with me, is that they call their grandmother Nana, and I'm like, there's no Latino fucking family that calls their fucking grandmother Nana. There was like that guy. I don't know. I don't even remember the specific word that they used in the movie, but I was like, this is not any kind of Latino family. But anyways, I'm sorry, I cut you off. I apologize. You were talking about George Lopez, and he keeps saying it, so that's why.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I mean, it was a DNF for me. So I'll go back and I'll think it maybe in another time. But it's hard. It really is hard for me to like.
Well, you have this issue. We've talked about this in the past. You specifically have an issue with you can't take the outside, behind the scenes studio news. You can't take that out when you're watching a movie. We've talked about this in the past. Like you like. When you know that there's not going to be a part 2, or when an actor got fired, for you it's hard to go back to watch it.
Or like House of the Dragon was hard for me to watch because I didn't like the way Game of Thrones ended, and I'm just like, I get it.
Like Black Panther, like Black Panther 2. We talked about that because you knew the actress's politics, anti-vaxxer and blah blah. It made it difficult for you to watch it. And again, I'm able to separate. I'm very easy. I'm very easy to like. I don't give a fuck about any of that.
I understand. I will say, Blue Beetle's your number 2 for a reason. Again, we each have our own opinions. That's why we have this show to talk about it. Because my number 2 is Barbie. Barbie. I did not expect it to hit me as hard. So, like, I'm assuming you were watching this kind of like for what it meant, and like it hit you. Did you expect to have such an emotional reaction and think that you were like? Did you expect to feel this way? Is like a kind of a big question going into movies, like, did you because if you see something coming, there's like getting surprised is how a joke works, right? You can't tell a joke stop me if you've heard this one. You know what I mean? Like
I had zero expectations for Barbie. Zero. I went there very much like the Haunted Mansion. My wife is a huge fan of Barbie. Growing up, she had the toys and so I went there to support her, and I'm like, it's a date night, and I don't care what I watch with my wife. As long as I'm watching with my wife, I'll be fine.
Right.
But I had zero expectation. I really enjoyed Barbie. It just didn't move me as much as like I guess I don't know. Like I don't want to say anything derogatory towards the movie because there's nothing bad to say about the movie. It didn't move. Like there was a moment in the end of the movie. Which, spoilers for the Barbie, but there was a moment where Barbie spoilers for that $1 billion earning movie.
Yeah, everybody's thought. No, but there was a moment in the movie, and I get the messages that were supposed to be received, but there's a moment where she talks about how she wants to be the creative one, how she wants to be the one that makes the things and does the stuff and all that. And as somebody who is in LA trying to be the entertainer, a performer, a creator, comedian, actor, improviser, all of these things. There was a moment where I was like, that is an important thing that I thought I did not know it was going to be a part of the movie, where she's like, I want to be the one that has the thoughts and does the creating. And it crushed me when, and my wife, she was watching the movie and she thought it was going to be like like just a marketing thing of Barbie, whatever, and then also the men and women and all this stuff. And then she was like shocked that it hit me that hard, and I explained it. I was like, "Oh, that is a big deal for me."
Did she look at you and be like, "Stop being a bitch"? Like,
Yeah, you're being such a bitch, bro. It is. No, she's Venezuelan. She
No,
doesn't say
of
bro.
course. Yeah.
Uh,
Mahe, why? I get it, man. Like, look, the part I very much enjoyed Barbie. I don't want to make it seem as if I did. I very much enjoyed Barbie. There was that one scene that really, I think the closest I got was, there's two scenes. One is when she was recounting, America Ferrera was recounting, like, one day my kid didn't want to play with me anymore, and that really
Right.
fucking hits, man.
I
That really
bet.
hits. And then the other part was the line, and it's such a well written line, is moms stand still so that daughters could see how far they've come. And I think that is such a great, beautifully written line, but it hits home, man. It hits close to home. And as a dad who's in entertainment, who's away from his kids all the fucking time, literally right now, it, like, that hits close. Oh man, that's so. But it also is like, I say all of that to say, like, yeah, it was cool, it was great. I think it wasn't earth moving for me. Like, you know what I mean? There's some movies, and I get it. I totally respect that. You know what did that to me as far as a creator? The movie Chef.
Oh,
That movie did that for me, because he had that scene with his son in the movie Chef where he goes, "Do you like what we're doing today? Is this like a joke to you?" And because his son wanted to serve a sandwich that was overcooked, and he was like, "Who cares? It's free anyway. They're not paying for it anyway." And he was like, "I take this shit serious. Like, this is my job. I take this very serious, and I'm not putting this out because it's not good."
right.
Like, I believe in putting my best product out all the time, and like that, as a creator, I'm like, God damn, he gets it. He gets it. This Jon Favreau guy, he gets
this
it.
Jon Favreau guy might have
a
something.
creator. He might, yeah. Anyways, but go on. You were
Let's
saying
talk about no. Barbie is my number 2 for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. Well, we did a movie bros about it, so we did a movie
bros, and it's also like it's for a lot of reasons that you were talking about the movie. My experience that I bring to the movie, everything around the movie, how it brought people to the movies.
Sure.
How it
did you rewatch? Have you rewatched it?
Actually, no, I haven't. Rewatched it, but that's why it's number 2.
Yeah.
It was like a monumental kind of moment for me, especially when I realized, I just moved to California to be all this.
Sure.
It hit me at the right time for it to be my number 2, more than any of these other movies, and there's a bunch of honorable mentions that we'll get to after this, but we'll blast through them real quick. But first, we'll talk about actresses in a leading role.
Yeah, we gotta. I got a show coming up. We gotta go. So, actresses, hit me.
Actresses: Annette Bening in Naiad, Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller, Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan, Maestro, Emma Stone, Poor Things.
If anybody other than Lily for fucking Flower Moon wins, I'll be absurdly fucking unreasonably upset.
Really?
And I haven't seen the majority of these other movies, but if you watch this movie, she fucking destroys this movie. She is such a great actress on so many fucking levels, man. On so many levels. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it has nothing to do with her being a minority. You goddamn right, it has something to do with her fucking being a minority. I am absolutely rooting for her. She is the first Native American woman to ever be nominated for Best Actress in a leading role. That's a huge fucking deal. And she did it. She did it speaking her native language. She did it fucking representing her people. The movie was phenomenal. She just everything. This movie, there's a reason why she's nominated, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been, because I believe that he got snubbed, but there's a reason why she's nominated, and Leonardo fucking DiCaprio is not.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there. I am gonna say that you're right on all those things. I don't mean to diminish it in any way. If you want to, we got to go fast. I actually agree with you. I think another one that I saw, I have not seen Killers of the Flower Moon yet, but one that I have seen that I thought was the one that I have seen that I think is incredible. And I was one of those movies that my wife started watching, and then I started paying attention because of how good it was. And it was Naiad, and it was Annette Bening. How she has to swim the whole. It's hard to explain why the movie is good, because on paper it doesn't really sounds kind of dumb. The movie is incredible. This woman beats the fucking odds, and Annette Bening is in the ocean, losing her mind, getting stung by jellyfish, doing all kinds of crazy hard things while also performing, very powerful scenes and experiences. It was great. I would say Annette Bening.
Annette Bening I don't think Annette Bening's done a bad role. Be honest with you.
Yeah,
And
no, she's amazing. Number ones, hit me with your number one, which I can guess what it is.
Well, I tabled it. It's Guardians of
Yeah.
the Galaxy Volume 3. I just saw it again. I've probably seen it 3 times in the last week and a half. It's one of the. It's just the only movie I've only been choked up in one other superhero movie, one other Marvel movie, and that was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 when Drax talks about his daughter.
Oh,
So that got me choked up. I didn't cry at Tony dying. I didn't do like that. Doesn't move me at all. I didn't move the needle. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, it was fucking hard, man. It was like rude. I mean, that whole scene with Rocket and Layla and like and it's just fucking brutal. Like it was. I almost tweeted to James Gunn and be like, it is almost unfair to have these cute little fucking mutilated animals. Like that's almost an unfair advantage. You know what I mean? It's like they went that scene in Tropic Thunder, like you never go full. They went full, and I was like, you sons of bitches. I'm in. You sons of bitches.
It was my number 3, and it was for the whole fact that it was kind of like James Gunn saying goodbye to these characters.
Sure.
And like I hate the MCU lately. Their struggle. Not that they hate, but all of the story stuff that they're trying to build has kind of fallen flat. And I'm glad that James Gunn had this moment to say goodbye. I don't know what the story could have been, but the whole time that he's been making these movies, he said Rocket is the star and main character of every single one of these movies, and he proved it. And it destroys you when he finally says, "I'm Rocket Raccoon." Like he accepts who he is. All of this stuff after being so self-loathing.
Oh yeah.
Great movie. Number 1.
Great
Awesome. My number 1, and surprisingly, this is the peak of. I think it's an amazing movie, and I had an amazing time watching it. For me, this is the top of that experience. Is The Holdovers. The Holdovers.
I haven't seen it, man.
Paul Giamatti is an amazing actor and deserves every award he's ever gotten in his life. This movie is a simple, piece, character study. There's not a lot of stuff going on, but everything is riveting because the performances are good, and it's about this kid getting stuck in the boarding school over the holidays in 1970, and then all of the stuff going on in his life and family, and then the guy who's trying to navigate dealing with this kid, and he's the hated teacher. It's so, and then the divine Joy Randolph, the one that I said nominated for Best Supporting, she is also a powerful character in this. It's just the perfect filmmaking character movie, and it was the best movie, and I genuinely was riveted the whole time wondering why. So it was my number 1. Quick, let's see. Hilda says that her number 1 was Joyride. I did not see Joyride.
Did not see Joyride.
Her 2 and 3 were Killers of the Flower Moon, and number 2 is Barbie. Some other honorable mentions that were technically last year: Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, nothing. The Super Mario Brothers movie,
great. That's my honorable mention. Yeah.
Air, the movie Air with
look, another movie about a product being made in an office. Another movie
absolutely. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which I enjoyed the hell out of.
Still haven't seen it.
Still haven't
watched it.
I love the Hercule Poirot movies, The Haunting in Venice with Tina Fey.
I haven't seen it, but it's a horror movie, so I might be into it.
Great, yeah. The Last Voyage of the Demeter is a horror movie. It's the Dracula story where he crosses the ocean to get to England. The Marvels.
I never saw it.
You never saw it? Wow.
Did you like it? You like the Marvels?
I liked it.
The only reason I'm surprised
should have been a show, not a movie, and they should have made Secret Invasion a movie and not a show.
The only reason I sounded surprised is because you just finished saying I don't like what Marvel's doing, but also Marvel's is in my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
And Leave the World Behind. Leave the World Behind. The Julia Roberts end of the world situation. That weird thing where they're staying at an Airbnb.
Oh yes. Netflix movie. Yeah.
Netflix movie. And also a really good one with Dave Bautista, Knock at the Cabin. Really enjoyed
Okay.
that. Really suspenseful movie. Let's go with our best picture. Who do we think is going to win best picture? I know you got to go.
It's got to go Oppenheimer, man. Oppenheimer's got to win that. But go ahead. You were saying it.
Oppenheimer. So American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall. I don't know. Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of a Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest.
Past Lives is in a family shirt. DNF.
Ooh.
Not because of the quality of the movie. It's just the tone of the movie. It's setting me up for a betrayal of one of the spouses that I'm not ready for, and I don't want to, like, it's set like I
personal.
as an empathetic person. I talk about this all the time. Even when I watch something like a comedy, like I watch a sitcom, I watch King of Queens, and I'll know that this guy bought a car and then he loses his job. I'm like, I feel like it makes the uncomfortableness because I feel that he messed up because he bought a car. Again, this is a sitcom. This isn't this isn't a real person.
Yeah.
I get it. But I feel the same way in many. I give that as an example because that's my go-to example. But there's many times. So when I feel like somebody's gonna get suckered, like you're like, oh no, like that, and I just don't like that fucking feeling. But it's again,
I get it.
I'm gonna finish.
I get it. I am. You're going with Oppenheimer?
I think Oppenheimer's gonna win. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Scorsese wins everything because I want Scorsese to win everything. But
of all of these movies, of all of the ones that I've seen, I think you're right. Oppenheimer's going to win, but I would like The Holdovers to win because of how good, how like I was just like, this is great, you know, like And I really, the performances were great, as a structure is great. I honestly think Barbie is going to win, or if Maestro wins, I swear to God, I'm going to be so mad and do nothing about. I don't know. I'm just going to be mad. But yeah,
I'm going to go on Twitter.
I'm going to be so mad. But yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on our first episode back. What's up, bro? Episode 380, by the way. This is 380. I looked it up. And
we are back.
And we're back again. And stay tuned. Follow us again. Turn on your notifications. Subscribe to us on YouTube or whatever platform you're on. If you're watching us on Facebook, awesome. If you're watching us on YouTube, awesome as well. But we also have a Twitch at WuBro Pod on everything. If you look down here, it's literally everything. WuBro Pod on everything. So thank you, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm at Mike Mercadal, at Nary Signs. And check us out and stay tuned for more stuff on What's Up, Bro. We need a goodbye.
That's how winning is done. What are you talking about? What are you doing?
No. I wanted to do the swell of music, but I don't have that implemented just yet. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. And that's how winning is done.